me and my wife. Anyway, you're all welcome. Now, what Allah wants me to talk about is this subject. So many times I mentioned it, but by mentioning it's not working. You need to apply, For example, why is this here? So that the communication can be recorded, so that you can listen again. I was watching today two people. They were talking, and when so communication, and I said I have to talk about communication. So communication is the most important part of human relation. What is communication? Communication is transferring your thoughts and your intention and your motives to the other person through certain means. The main one is the sound that you produce, language. And then there's also the body language, and there's also the aroma, and then so many kinds of communications, your actions. They're all giving information to the outside world. How you dress, how you walk, how your voice sounds. We were watching yesterday right, honey, in the Science Channel.
Yes.
How the voice of the woman, when it is pictured this much, then it's attracting, and the voice of the man, when it is this much, is attracting the other sex, just without seeing each other. So everything we do is communicating something to the others. As Sufis, we need to be more aware of what we are doing and what we are saying and how we are saying it and when we are saying it. The timing is also important. As Sufis, our first job is to please Allah. When you do something, you have to ask yourself, is Allah happy with me if I do this? And if Allah is not happy with me if I do that. So, if Allah is not happy, don't do it. Your focus has to be Allah. Why do we have to do this? Because Allah has arranged, set up this system like that. This is called Qadar. Qadar doesn't mean predestination, it means measures. He did put out a universe. In this universe, he made a showcase, and then he put you to watch and observe, and then fall in love with Allah on your own, not by force. So Allah is the best communicator. That's why He is communicating with you in multi-level ways. We have 5 senses that He's communicating with us. Taste, smell, see, touch, hear. And there are 12 inner senses that He is communicating with you. So Allah is not deaf, and Allah is not mute. He is always talking to you. As Sufis, it's our job to bring this consciousness in people and start a relationship between them and Allah so that they will not be lonely. I have this Christian priest, student. he said, I mean, he's been only with me 2 months. This is what he said. He says, I think Sufism is the path to make people humanity, to bring a human level. I didn't teach him this, but he figured it out on his own. So when we register as Sufis, what are we trying to do? Is to be a human that Allah has intended to make, but voluntarily, not by force. That's the whole thing. Is why doesn't Allah make us to be a human being? Allah gives you the opportunity to see if you're gonna want to be one or not, because that is what is expected of you. Is voluntarily are you gonna do this? No compulsion. There is no compulsion in religion. I equate that as there is no compulsion in love. The purpose Allah created you on this earth is for love. Earth can provide you this opportunity. Humility is one factor of love. I'm not going to talk about love now. Maybe next time. But communication. And as you can see, Allah created us to be His deputy, His Khalifa. So, when in the Bible says, and we created man in our image, that's a debatable thing, but since we are Allah's Khalifa, we have Allah qualities in us. What are these qualities? Allah can talk and understand, so can you. So understanding. To be able to understand Allah, you have to have some perception points that He has given you to understand through these perception points. Then these are the 5 senses that I gave you. We are analyzing everything. Allah is communicating to us outwardly with these 5 senses. So, as human beings, we need to communicate more. Not empty words, communicate more. Transferring one idea or what you think to the other person is a complicated issue. I wish there was a way that you could completely transfer your thoughts to the other part. In order for you to be able to do this, you need to go into levels of Sufism, and your heart has to help you to understand and what he's or she is saying, and what is the motive behind it. Your heart knows this, because your heart is connected to the big energy we call Allah, and you have this ability in you. We kill it later. You are born with it. As animals can talk like this, through the lions. When they are hunting, they talk to each other, you don't hear. Ants talk to each other, long distance even. But you don't hear. And we can also talk to each other through our heart. And this is the surest communication is through your heart. So there are basic rules in communication, principles. One principle is think positive. So say somebody is late. You can go into the negative and saying, well, I think he didn't want to come, or he is lazy, Or second one is maybe he got stuck in traffic, or maybe he's in the hospital, or maybe this, maybe that. Think positive. The others, one, Allah says in Quran Kareem is, have good zan. Zan means good thoughts, good assumption about Allah, and good assumption about each other. Don't immediately try to tear each other down. What will you gain if you do this? We are all human beings. We also have mistakes. The third principle is find your own mistake. See if you have communicated it properly. And check how it sounds on the other side. That's why in speeches and this, that you test it on a small group, see how it tastes, sounds on the other side, what kind of impact are you doing. Especially when you are a sheikh and so on and so forth, you do things normally, but because of your spiritual power, it's making a big impact on the other side, and you don't realize it. So my wife, she always reminds me of this, and I'm grateful for that. Although I may be upset sometimes why she's saying this, but because you yourself also have some kind of charisma, some kind of power. What kind of impact are you making on the other person? And in your speech, when you are talking, is your intention being transferred there? The first thing you need to transfer is your intention. Why are you saying this? Because in certain times, because your intention is not understood and the person is translating your intention negatively, then they go into defense. When people go into defense, then there is no communication happening. Quit that. You are not communicating anymore because he's not listening. He's not accepting. Why are you listening to me? Because you have this assumption that I am from God and you are assuming that whatever I say is valuable and that's why you are listening. If somebody else said the same things that you didn't care for, you wouldn't listen to him. It wouldn't make any impact on you. So, in one way, we are limiting ourselves from understanding others by our assumptions. So the fourth and the fifth is do not assume. Listen to the whole thing. Immediately do not assume. And then don't cut. Oh, I got it. So what's happening when you say assume and when you say I got it is because there has been an experience in your life that your brain registered it and you related to that, and then that came to life in your brain and you say, oh, I got it, it is like that. Maybe similar to that, but it is never like that, never. You need to find out the real intention. I'm not saying everybody has good intention. You need to find that out too. Why is she saying this to me? Everybody has an agenda to propose, to tell you something. Businessmen want to sell you something. Your wife wants something out of you. Your kids want something else. So you have to study them. But between each other, you have to, brothers and sisters, you need to communicate well. The one that does the most effect is your intention. When your intention is love, and when you say things lovingly, the other heart picks this up and then it's translated positively. If you have no, I have people, I don't want to give names, they represent, I tell them to do this and that, and they go like military, they give orders. They have no love like I have for my kids, When I come here, I have love for you all. And then I hope you can pick this up. And so whatever you are saying has to be accompanied by love. And also the capacity. The other thing, this is becoming a speech lesson now. The other factor is speech and talking or communication is the capacity. Now, when I'm talking like this to you, I'm also testing if this is your capacity. Am I going over your capacity? Because every word is very full. What I'm saying here is very full. That's how I talk, though. This is Allah's thing. You need to listen and study one by one. Every sentence is full of mysteries and full of information. Concise. So, if the audience doesn't have the capacity to grasp it, then you have to talk according to their level. You have to lower yourself to the level of the person that you are talking to. And the timing, when? When the guy has lost his wife and kids and you are talking about how Allah is good, I don't think he's going to listen to you. I mean, excuse me. So timing has to be right. That they are in a position to receive the information. And one way of finding if you are transferring your information to the other person is what? Feedback, right? Ask questions, you watch. Are you putting them to sleep if you are giving a speech like this? If you are communicating, see what they are doing. You are telling a story and he is trying to do something on the computer. What must you do? Quit. So, what is the body language? Your body language tells me if you are listening or not, or you're sleeping or not, or grasping or not, and so you have to make eye contact with everybody. This is one. The other one is ask questions. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I hope so.
Okay, does it make sense to you, what I'm saying?
Yes, Shaykh.
Do you make mistakes?
I do.
What kind of mistake do you make when you communicate?
The intention.
So anyways, what am I doing now? Now I'm interacting, right? Now I get them involved. Now they're going to pay attention. When I see that they are not paying attention, then I ask them, how is your communication with your mother?
It's not enough.
Fair?
It's fair.
Does she understand you?
Yes, I think so.
Do you understand her?
Yes, I hope so.
What else is important in understanding each other is the culture. If you are from the same culture, you understand them better. If you are from a different culture, it is hard to understand unless you know the culture better. So if you are going to translate a book or this, that, you need to know that culture first. Just knowing the language is not enough. You need to know the culture, because culture is also a part of communication. And the gender. There is no way men are going to understand women. Although I am one of the men who can understand somewhat. Because you are not a woman, you cannot understand. And there's no way you're going to understand men, although they're the simplest creatures like worms. But still, you cannot understand unless you are a man. You are not that simple. Right, Khalid? What do you say about this subject?
I have nothing to say, Shaykh.
So all these factors and more, no matter what I tell you, if I gave you a speech again tomorrow about communication, that would probably totally be different. Because science is never-ending story. There is always more, because Allah is infinite, and there is always more. When Allah talks through you, there is always more. You can communicate in, for example, literacy is important. In the old times, illiterate rate was very high. In the whole Mecca, there were like 6 people who knew how to read and write. So Allah, the best communicator, how did He send His book? In poetry form. Because poetry you can remember. Who remembers, like Shakespeare wrote everything in poetry form. That's why everybody can remember a lot, of course. Who remembers prose? Somebody wrote pages and pages of it, I don't remember a sentence of it. But in Quran, whatever Allah said, I remember them all. So, Allah wanted to communicate, so He put it in a poetic form, so it could be easily stuck on the brain, so you can remember better. And they also, in return, even before Quran, Arabs used to converse with each other with poetry. Because that's the only way they could preserve the knowledge throughout the centuries, because there was no writing much. So that's another form of communication. There you go. Music is another form of communication. When you say something and I start playing deaf, what does this mean? I'm happy that whatever you said is good. I'm happy. Or I don't want to listen to tune, depending on the tune. So when you say I love you, you have to back it up with your heart. In the mouth, it becomes a word. I love you, I love you. What's your name? In California they had it. I love you, what's your name? Excuse me? Very good, So, that's all, folks. Any questions?
You said about the communication part, how people communicate. What could people do to communicate better? You said example, listen with your heart and listen to what they're saying, language, body language, and all that. But is there something you practice or is that something that people are natural with?
Okay, to communicate better, first of all, Sufism is one of the ways, fighting your nafs and purifying your nafs. Very good. This is a good communication. So he's saying, I'm thinking of you, but I am stupid. I didn't give this to you before. And I say, it's okay.
I was thinking the whole time, Shaykh, to give it to you. I couldn't interrupt, Shaykh.
You weren't interrupted. Anyway, first of all, you need to, with Sufism, you need to cut your attachments to the nafs so that won't be dominating and polluting your thought patterns. So you need to be able to evaluate clearly with justice, so that you should be able to accept the just. Even, especially if it's against you, can you accept the criticism?
Not at first, but later after a while you denial and then you get used to it, and it's a cycle.
Yes.
After a while, accept it. And
So
then
if-
fix it.
Yes, if you have done this work, then you are open to whoever what says. First of all, you check, do I have this? And you thank the guy for saying it. Rather than, what? You are insulting me. I mean, for me, my enemies are good people. They tell me what I lack, where I am weak. In that respect, So that's one way. The other one is, of course, intending to communicate better. So in order to communicate better, what is one of the things you need to do first is you have to be a good listener and study the person, where is he coming, where is she coming, why is she doing, and so on and so forth. So don't talk, don't immediately give an answer right away. Think, just a little bit of thinking and running these things through the thing. It will make you a better communicator. Let me summarize this if I were working on this. First, I need to listen. And then second thing, I need to figure, what do I want to do with this person? Do I want good relations or bad relations? And then the third thing, of course, is even the first and the second and the third steps, I see what is his motivation. And then I decide what my motivation is gonna be. If he's a friend and I want to win, then I put forward love, put love in it. And then when you get into the loving mode, then your words will not be that destructive. When you are in the I will punish him or her, and then so you are taking the risk that you can lose this person,
Right.
then there will be no love in your intention.
Is that acceptable Sufism to sabotage? It's like sabotaging somebody.
Yeah, I mean this
It's not
is
acceptable.
It's not acceptable. But it's a form of communication, though, isn't it?
Sabotaging somebody?
I'm saying, like, if I talk to somebody and say I'm gonna hurt this person, then continue with the relationship, what kind of relationship it is. How is it like looked at from Sufism?
not in the Sufism. I'm talking about general communication.
Yeah.
Sufism is different. Now, if I were anybody and I would do this first, and then what do I want to do? And then if your thing is to business or social, continue or not continue, decides your words, what you're going to tell him or her. And if you are trying to communicate something, then you need to be able to speak their language. That's the essential thing. Speak their language doesn't mean English or French, their language, what they understand. So these are the summary of it. When you are a Sufi, your program is different. Then Allah comes into the place. What does Allah want me to do with her or him? You let Allah say whatever He wants to say. And because Allah knows and we don't, so I come here, I don't know you all, but Allah does, and Allah tells me talk about communication. I don't, maybe you're all communication experts, I don't know. And I don't care because Allah wants me to talk about this. And what comes from my heart is this. I didn't read these, although it is my subject. These are all my kashif that Allah has shown me firsthand, which some of are happening here. I come up with I don't come up, Allah gives me the information, I share. That's all. Cheers. Anything else?
Sheikh, how can you, because it's quite easy to communicate when you are in a good mood, but when you are in a bad mood, and you are aware that you are in a bad mood, but you need to communicate with people like in the workplace, and how can you actually transform that bad mood in a loving mood and be...
Okay, that's very good. This is where you decide, what am I going to do? What do I want to do with these people? If you are a Sufi, your job is to turn the negative into positive. We don't know why those people became like this, because they started with something negative, and that negative is keep on coming from person to person. Give me an example. When our delivery truck driver comes, I be nice to him and I give him a pizza or something because they get abused every stop. So I give him so. Why do I do this? So that he can be positive in the next step. So the positivity goes. Now, when you get emotional, then you lose the control. You are not in control anymore. When you have a plan, then you have a control of the situation. Somebody yelling at you now. They teach you in these courses, but my wife took a course like that. Do you want to talk about it?
Customer service? Is that
For
what you're
example,
talking
yes.
about? It's just, if you're talking about business communications, regular thing, somebody's yelling at you and they're very angry, you understand that they are not really yelling at you. It is not personal. They have a hurt. They are, they're upset about the service they got, maybe even something you did. But it is the business or it is the service. So first thing you do is you calm them down and then ask them. In our business, when somebody came in and they're really unhappy, you literally say, I am sorry that happened to you. And that's not an ego thing, because you're not saying, I did this to you and I am sorry, but you are...
Let me interject something. In this case, this is our job, and your intention is to make him feel
I'm just
better.
asking professional.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, go on.
So once they realize that you are on their side, that you are willing to help them and you are open to helping them, then you ask, what is the problem? And third step is customer service situation. What can I do to correct this for you? I can do A, B, C.
From options.
That's it.
But I was more thinking the other way around. When you are in a bad mood and someone is approaching you for whatever reason, and for some reason you are in that mood and you know that, but there is something that is kind of impeding you to be in that loving mood and to react in a...
When you're
So
in
the
anger
communication
mode,
is not
you're not going to
possible.
get into love mode just like that.
And how can you do that?
I find laughter can do it, and you can tell people, if you're talking about your co-workers, you can tell them, today I am in a bad mood, let everybody know, nothing personal. You can say that. And everybody will laugh,
That's
and
what I
it will
say.
immediately put you into a...
Don't take personal, I am upset.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and you can also, you can say, all right, tell me a joke, I'm in a bad mood. You can go to a person and see if that does it for you.
There are certain techniques. When you are in a mode like that, first of all, Why are you in a mode like that? You find the cause. Something you wanted didn't happen, or somebody did something wrong, and etc., etc. Then, if it is a complaining issue, you have to do that to let the people know, but you don't have to yell at them, scream at them. But that's what I do. That's why I carry her. I tell her, you tell them, honey. There's one way. Is have somebody who is not upset
Yeah, we take
to
turns.
give them what happened. So that you cool down. First of all, if you are in a mode like that or a mood like that, then the first thing you do is just wait. Don't do anything. Because if you do something or say something, it's gonna be not good and it's gonna be regrettable. You might regret later.
You may not be able to ever fix because you're in a bad mood and you said something to somebody.
So you wait. If it is not urgent, wait 24 hours. This 24 hours is a magical number. I was in the military. You have the right to complain about your commanding officer to the superior officer, but you have to wait 24 hours. In 24 hours, if there are, let's say, there are 10 people who wanted to complain, only maybe one person complained after 24 hours. And of course, you can cheat yourself or look at the truth. The truth of the matter is, if somebody wronged you, Allah says in Quran Karim, you have this right to wrong them the same way they did to you. But if you are patient, it is better for you. When somebody or something happened, and then everything first of all has a negative and a positive. If you are a Sufi, you think, why did this thing happen to me? Maybe Allah is trying to teach you patience. So how are you going to behave? How are you going to behave under these conditions? Will you still hold on to the kindness and the softness of Sufism under these conditions? When you are happy and everything is normal, of course you can talk kind words. Can you talk kind words when you are angry?
You have to see this as an opportunity. There is no such thing that you always have to be in a good mood. There is no written rule like that. But there are certain things you have to do, which is try your best to treat people with kindness, whether you're angry or upset or
If you make your intention like that, you can do it. If you don't have any intention like that, and then you cannot. Do you want to advance as a human being or not? You need to decide that now. And then this will affect your actions. How can I do? First of all, you're going to fail many, many times. But each time you fail, you're going to be better, one step closer to what is needed. Each time you're going to determine, next time I'm going to do better, next time I'm going to do better, next time I'm going to do better, next time because this is human nature and there is no magic wand. And I feel good, everything is good. There's not such a thing, because there are all kinds of issues that is ticking you off. There is justice, injustice, abuse, so on, so on, so on, so forth. At a certain time, maybe it is necessary to yell at them. I'm not saying you should never yell at anybody. If it is necessary, then that's what they need to do here. But when, that is the part. But if you are yelling at everybody at every time, then there's a problem there. I don't think they are learning anything, or they deserve this. This is not the right time to do all each time you yell. Each time somebody asks you something, you yell. There is something wrong with you. Can you do this in a better way? That should be your goal. And you say, okay, I am in this anger mood. How can I make it positive? I'll give you some example. There are other people who wanted to aggravate me. They swore at me, they want to kill me, and instead they send me these nasty letters. When they do that, I make a party. I give a party. Dancing and, all that. Why? Because he wants to destroy my time. He wants to steal my time and make it unagreeable. This is my time. Why should I waste it by being angry? When I say I go to the movies, when somebody says I give party, so that I don't want to fall into their game. I want to be in control of my emotions and my life myself. Your actions should not be a reaction to somebody else's action. Somebody swore at me. In Turkey, this is how we grew up. Italians or the same thing.
Yeah.
Somebody, especially if they swear at your mother, means come and kill me. I don't even like my mother, but I will still kill you. So it means come and fight me. Okay, now I thought about it. Excuse me. That's his will that he wants to fight. Do I want to fight now? No. So why should I fight? I will fight him on my own time when I decide that I want to fight. Why should I play his game? Then you are in control of your life. Would you like to be in control of your life?
Well, yeah.
Of course the answer is yes, right? Then don't make your actions, intend not to do your actions as a reactionary actions. They have to be well thought, well planned actions. You can have an enemy, but you can have a plan how to keep him away from you. And that's the best thing instead of going into fight. You don't want anybody or anything disrupting your well-being. You want to be happy, and somebody's giving you a nasty letter to make you unhappy. Whose game do you want to play? Show emotion. Wow! How can you write to me like this? Then you are in his game plan. Actually. Na 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 na. I start giving parties and have a nice food, eat. Like that. You can turn the negative into positive.
So life gets tough, you party.
When life gets tough, get party.
Like the lemon and what? Knife gives you a lemon, make lemonade.
What?
When someone gives you a lemon, make lemonade.
Yes. There you go. Lemonade. Some people like melancholy. Some people, Turks, Italians, like to be angry that much so they feel good. In their mind, they are buying, selling, killing, beating, this, that, Their emotions, okay? But as Sufi we ask, is Allah happy with this? If Allah tells me swear at him, I'll swear at him. But Allah says if someone does bad to you, do good to him. Be patient is better than... You have the right to do the same, but being good is better for you. And this is not granted to everybody, Allah says. So you need to deserve this level. Am I making sense to you? Are you learning something from it?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks.
Yes. What is the key word here?
Which doesn't mean that it's easy. I think.
Be in control. Don't let your emotions take the control away from you.
Mm.
The whole thing is that people are trying to push your buttons. Be emotional. Salesman, they want to hook you up so you can buy it today. Now, I'm giving you this now, not tomorrow. When somebody says something, hit the road. If I have to buy something now and not other time, something is wrong in this deal. Everybody is trying to do something. The advertisements are addressing to your nafs. I want this, I want that. If you buy this car, girls will be running after you. If you buy this, I think men are gonna be attracted to you. They're gonna go like this. Oh yeah, you always wanted this. So, what are we trying to say by Sufism is take the control in your hand. Let Allah be in control, not nobody else, not your emotions. Cheers. Now, if there were Tablighi Jamaat, they said, haram. He said, cheers. Why is cheers haram? It's like drinking alcohol. Allahu Akbar, don't do that. I'm sorry. For your good health. That means cheers means for your good health. So what's wrong with that? This is not alcohol. This is diluted tea. This is a poor excuse for tea, but it's good.
You have to dilute it because it's nighttime, they don't want it to interrupt with your sleep.
I don't think anything is going to interrupt my sleep. Once I hit the bed.
That's it. Yeah, I know. It's coming and going with me. I'm waking up and then
Is
just...
there anything
down.
else you want to add, Ms. Shaykh and Sorry?
Reference points. We always talk about reference points as Sufis, and how do you have better communication with other people when you have the intention of being a Sufi and cleansing yourself. And we enter something what Shaykh calls reference points. That means we make decisions based on that. Let's say your mother told you not to do something, and you did it and it turned out good. And if your wife tells you not to do something, most likely you are going to say, in the past, my mom told me not to do something, and she is telling me not to do something now. I'm not going to listen to that. Or, actually that's a good example, I'm going to stay with that. So as a Sufi, when you are aware of what your decisions are based on, we are not listening to the other person, we are listening to the decisions that we have made in the past. So when somebody tells us something in a certain way, for example, somebody is telling something really loudly, they might even use swear words when they are talking. They may not even be angry. That's my thing. I don't like swear words, my father never swore around us, and it's like whatever. And then I had this tutor who was an Marine or something, sailor at school. Very nice person, very helpful person. But every once in a while he uses a swear word. Oh, it used to drive me crazy. And then Shaykh told me, why don't you look at what he's saying and look at his intention? Is he saying these things, and he's not swearing at me, but is he saying these things to offend you, or is this just how he speaks? Took me a while because it's very strongly ingrained in me. Don't just cut personal. If somebody's just using a whole bunch of swear words in their language, I'm not going to listen to anything, and I don't have to listen to anything they're saying. But I'm learning something here. So once I was able to pass through that, I try to listen to what they're saying. And I got what I needed to get out of that. I got my learning and what I needed to learn. And whether they change or not, it doesn't matter. Allah helped me to get what I wanted out of that. So when we have set mind on so many things, it is very difficult to have a communication. That's why Sufism is about opening up your mind. For example, as a Sufi, you have to travel. Because when you travel, when you're in another land, you don't have any expectations of anything going your way, and most of the time it doesn't. It's a miracle, like we just...
You are totally dependent on Allah.
Yeah.
Because whatever makes you safe is not there anymore. Your safety
Is with Allah.
is gone. You're away from your safety place. You're on your own.
So that's when we really turn to ourselves and our heart, and you call it maybe instinct. If you are in a place you don't know, and how do you take things that is being told to you?
I mean, you feel vulnerable. You
Yes.
suddenly look up to Allah and praise Him.
That's right.
And ask for help.
Yes.
Is that why you travel?
That's definitely one of the reasons. And also your mind opens. You see other ways of doing it. Just because you don't do it. For example, he said cheers, and he said some people get very offended and by that. But cheers does not only belong to people,
So
that word doesn't belong to only
what he
people
means
who
by it,
drinks.
seeing what he
Right.
means by it. It's communication,
Right.
like you said
Right.
before. What do you mean
Right.
by it? Not just a word, but what you try to convey with it.
Yeah.
The meaning of it, which is the message you understand, basically.
Right. But if your mind is that, oh my God, he used the word that they use at the bar, that's it. You stopped your learning. And we shouldn't stop our learning. Inshallah.
So you need to know, like she said, you're a person of communication well, because a lot of people who are teachers like me, sometimes I swear too, but that's because of honesty, not because I want to insult or something, or if some word carries the meaning better than anything else, and it happens to be a not nice word, I still use it.
I mean, and you have to, you would have to know about that. If you're meeting him the first time, you wouldn't know that he's a linguist, trained person. He studied so many languages, and for him, each word conveys a meaning. And if that is the word that conveys a meaning, in his case, then that's what he uses, and that's it.
Maybe you need like open mind to deal with people.
Exactly.
I mean, no word, for example, take two words for the same thing. Take two words, for example, vagina and something else. They mean the same
like
thing.
ingenious, it means two different opposite things. Like ingenious could be something, ing and ious means something brilliant, and some ng and uous could mean something very silly and stupid. Like, you know what I mean? So like, when someone says something, you have to understand what they're trying to say, like the word, right?
So every word is there to carry every language. There is no good language, beautiful language, bad language. Every language is designed for that culture to communicate certain thoughts to each other. So for me, there is no swear words or unswear words.
It's communication.
You can swear somebody without using swear words too. Like, you are genius, man. What happened? You mean you are stupid? I didn't say you stupid, I said genius, man. So what happened? So it means your intention is more important.
Yes.
Hello, are you still here?
Yeah.
Not here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, boss.
Boss. Here, upstairs, where?
I don't know.
They want to go upstairs.
You go upstairs?
How do you?
What? Not anymore? No more coming up?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.